Okay, so hold on to our seats and expect change.
We are going to adapt and we are going to mold and we are motivated.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode, a Monday morning update chat with Stephanie and Rosella from Spokane County, Spokane City, Deer Park, any place you want to be over in Eastern Washington. Hi ladies, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
I am well, thank you so much. And I'm excited about this call because today I'm going to ask for your two predictions for the housing market in your area. And you can also go national if you like, whatever works for you for 2024. What's going to happen next year, ladies?
Woo! Well, I think a lot of things are coming down the pipe. I honestly predict that 2024 is going to be a year just full of changes and full of opportunities that are like the one-offs that are like, wait, what? Where did that come from? Reason being is because I think that people are still a little shaky and wobbly with rates and stuff and pricing. So they're looking for still really good deals, but also how to get creative with it and not like over leverage themselves. I'm sure people are kind of a little bit like thinking maybe this might be a bubble. I'm sure you've already talked about that too, but it's not really. We know this. So moves are still making, but I think that there's a lot of changes of how we buy, sell, represent real estate, do lending. I think there's a lot of changes. So I think we just have to hold on for our seats and take everything that we can as it comes to us.
Okay, so hold on to our seats and expect change from Stephanie. Rosella, what do you have to add to that?
I was going to say, I wanted to kind of like, not necessarily like clothespin myself to her, but kind of like attached to hers is with the changes. I do think that there are going to be positive changes that are really going to drive our housing market in a positive way for growth. And yes, our jobs as realtors are getting ready to change a little bit, but I feel like, I know for Stephanie and I, at least, we are very adapted. Like, we are going to adapt and we are going to mold and we are motivated. So between her and I, yes, those changes are kind of new and scary, but we do feel like they're going to come from a positive like side of everything, and that it should definitely drive our market. And people are coming to our area. We have a lot of new incomers still, and demand is there. And so nothing but growth, honestly, is what I'm predicting for the new year. Changes, but also good growth.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm going to add to your growth prediction, ladies, in that rates are going to come down next year. And that's kind of an easy prediction, I know, because Chairman Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, already told us in his last little chat speech that he anticipated them lowering rates 2 to 3 times next year. They think that inflation is kind of coming down on its own now, caused by the rate increases over this last year, which were dramatic. And I recently was on a coaching call where there was a gentleman who predicts rates. That's what he does for a living. We've known him for years. He's very accurate. And he predicts that rates are going to be in the high 5s by the second quarter of next year. That's a tremendous drop in rates from, 2% or more from where they're at right now. That, I think, it's kind of a magic number. When you get under 7, I think people are going to wake up. You get under 6% in rates, I think it's going to really stimulate the housing market. And you're going to have lots more demand and lots more buyers wanting to buy more homes. It'll also free up those sellers who've had those really, really low rates that don't want to sell because they don't want to go into a really, really high rate. 5 and 7/8 doesn't sound so bad. So I think it's going to help, and we'll probably have more growth.
I like to hear this, and I'm glad that you actually said that specific number, because that's where my brain was thinking, honestly, just at lowering it and like, okay, where are we probably going to land? And I think, we are going to find a sweet spot between that high 5s to mid 6s, I really think. And honestly, if anybody's done any car shopping recently, I unfortunately was forced to by nature. That's better than even what you can get for an automobile loan right now.
Oh, wow.
So in comparison, when you go out for consumer lending type stuff, like we're seeing that's where their market is huge for making up on interest. And so your purchasing power is going to come back a little bit for those investments. And as we know, real estate is the best place to put your money, because at least it's going to make you some money while it's sitting there. And maybe while you're trying to figure out what your next move is, let your money work for you a little bit smarter, not harder.
There you go.
I think too, on one side, I know with the last year we did have to get creative with our financing. And if those rates come down, that's going to give the opportunity to those creative people who might have needed the opportunity to refinance. It's going to give them that opportunity now to restructure like they needed to get out of that higher rate, or maybe that balloon, or whatever they had done for their lending structure. It's going to give them that chance to refinance and get comfortable. That way they're sitting tight where they wanted to originally be at, which is good.
Yep. So I think
Yep.
we'll actually see a refi boom, I would assume, a little bit slightly from anybody who might have purchased at a little bit higher if they have the equity, which I would almost predict as well that the value of people's homes are going to maintain, if not still do a steady increase. If I remember correctly, I mean, this is going back a few years, but Spokane, before we had our hot boom, you know, with the 2000, whatever it was, 2020, and how everything was increasing at a much faster and larger span. I feel like as we're going to go back to that increase of equity is going to be more in that realistic, you know, like 2 to 6% increase on value, which is pretty standard of what it used to be. That's going to be that protection that people might be looking for as well when it comes to things, because people they're overpaying or that the market's going to fall out. I don't think it's going to. I think you're still going to maintain. So.
Agreed. It's kind of nice to have some optimism in the conversation after 2 years of very difficult times.
Yes.
I did hear today, when I look at economic data a lot, I heard today from one of the economic data indicators that half of the loan officers that were licensed in the last 2 years are not getting licensed in 2024. We have to relicense every year, guys, for you those who don't know that. And it's a rigorous process to get there. Not so rigorous, but you got to do it. And it's an an NMLS kind of activity. I saw the game. Did you see the Seahawks? Huh? That was awesome.
Dude, that was a good game.
Back to economic data. So half the loan officers are gone. And I understand also that a lot of the real estate agents are gone. So those that are left are going to be the ones that you want to deal with. They're the pros that can handle sustained growth and also slow down in the industry like we've been experiencing over the last couple of years now. And with the housing market being stimulated, it's a great time to get connected with a couple of great real estate agents like the dynamic duo of Stephanie and Rosella over in Spokane, and check out houses. One more thing, it kind of prompted me what you were saying, Stephanie. 1 in 4 homes in 2023, according to and I think the NMLS is where I got this. No, CoreLogic, where I got this number from, was purchased by an investor. So 25% of the homes or so are investors. And we just did a webinar recently, and we have 11 different ways a self-employed borrower, another name for investor, can get qualified to purchase a home. So speaking of creative financing, if you need that, and the regular financing with Fannie and Freddie does not work for you, there are other options that you can use to purchase a home. That alone, that market is called the non-QM market. I call it alternative financing. That's probably growing faster than any side of the other market right now, or the mortgage market, which means that if you're self-employed, if you're an investor and you haven't purchased a home because you don't think you can, you should probably check it out. There are more ways to get qualified now.
And I would definitely highly suggest you reach out to myself or Rosella or John, because like he said, with those purchases increasing, I myself personally have started to dabble into looking into what those look like and how to structure them. So I like to lead by example and by my own personal experience. And I can tell you, holy cow, guys, there's some really cool deals that you can find and stack yourself with and get really creative. And Rosella and I, going back to our, how we are adapting to the changes, we're really good at making really beautiful pies out of mud too. So come find us.
Little blackbirds over here. Blackbirds and playing in the mud.
Yep.
You ladies fit that Deer Park market, no doubt about it.
Yep.
Rosella, that's a compliment.
But it's
take
fine.
it the right manner. It was intended.
I know.
Thank you so much. I'm going to reverse it. Rosella and Stephanie this time. for your inputs and for joining us and for your predictions. We're going to catch up with you in 2024 and me, and we're going to see just how well we did with our predictions for 2024. We'll check in mid-year for sure. But these videos are going to continue. We're going to do them every week, so you can just plug in and see what's going on in the Spokane market in particular with Stephanie Rosella. And if you have mortgage questions, certainly give me a call. Thanks, guys. Good to chat with you again. All right, bye-bye.
Oh, by the way, it's John's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.